more. I don't think venues talk to each other. I don't think states talk to each other. I don't think festivals talk to each other. Everybody's operating in a silo. And then they emerge from the silo and say, why is everybody else operating in a silo?
But I want to dwell a little further on making it meaningful to audiences.
Sure.
Because that's one aspect that we need to talk a little bit about.
Sure.
What is it? Are we focused enough on prospective audiences and what it will take
Right.
to grab their imagination and then make them part of a community that we want to build?
Right. So there's two parts to this again. One is, what is the theatre for? A lot of people worry about things like Broadway and scale, expertise, and there is a place for that in the world. But we must also remember that Broadway and the West End are effectively for tourists. That's not where they make the big advances in the theatre. So what is the theatre for? Now, if you read people like David Mamet, the theatre is where we go to dream out and perhaps sublimate our anxieties as a culture, as a country. This occurs in India, again, all over the place. In the rural theatre, in the yatra, in Lavani, in these all-night Ramayans and Mahabharats that happen down south, in Ram Leelas. It happens all over the place. But what does it represent for a urban sort of set of the audience? And I think that I felt this for a very long time. I think we've fallen into the trap of equating good work with bums on seats. I don't think that is the case. I think what we need to do, yes, there is room for spectacle. Yes, there is room for expertise. Yes, there is room for mounting world-class wonderment. Yes, of course. But I think what we need to do is not worry so much of the audience, because the audience will come. You need to understand the scales you're operating at. If you're working on a very experimental piece, you're not going to be able to sell out the JBT, and that's where you lose the money. So you have to be realistic. But we need education. We need to invest in writing. We need to invest in the diversity of voice, whether that's gender, sexual orientation, the myriad sections of society in our own country, underrepresented sections of society. We need to invest in the narrative being accessible. Whether or not it is accessed is the next step. It needs to be accessible first. And then I think smaller engagement at one level, and I think that people need to start talking to each other a lot more. I don't think venues talk to each other. I don't think states talk to each other. I don't think festivals talk to each other. Everybody's operating in a silo. And then they emerge from the silo and say, why is everybody else operating in a silo? So,
Yeah.
So we don't have a net. We need a net.